The world outside is growing quiet, and a story is waiting for you in the stillness. Welcome to Midnight Murmurs Studio, your safe harbor from the noise of the day. Find a comfortable place, close your eyes, and let the story begin. Before our story begins, a gentle reminder for your peaceful rest. For the deepest sleep, it's best to keep your phone at a safe distance from your head. So please take a moment to place your phone on a nearby table or chair. And while it's in your hand for this last moment, a quick tap on like and subscribe becomes a quiet signal to us, a soft murmur in the dark that lets us know these stories are a comfort to you. It's what keeps our studio going. Thank you for that. Now, settle in and let the outside world fade away. In the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, nestled in a valley so deep the sun was a fleeting visitor, lay the village of Shadow Creek. It was a quiet place, wrapped in a perpetual mist that softened the edges of the world. Here lived Silas, the lantern maker. His hands, though gnarled with age, could coax brass and tin into shapes of breathtaking beauty, and spin glass so fine it seemed to hold starlight captive. His small workshop was a treasure trove, shelves bowing under the weight of hundreds of lanterns. There were grand ones with panels of ruby-red glass, and small, simple ones of polished tin, each a perfect, silent vessel for light. Yet an irony hung heavy in the air of Silas's home. It was always dark. He never lit a single one. To him, they were not tools for illumination, but possessions to be hoarded, their value lying in their unblemished, unused perfection. The villagers saw him as a shadow himself, a recluse guarding his gleaming, useless treasures. The autumn bled its final colors onto the mountains. A brutal winter descended. It came not with gentle flurries, but as a howling beast of wind and ice. The snow fell relentlessly, burying paths and isolating homes. The creek, which gave the village its name, froze solid, its murmuring voice silenced. A new family, the Millers, had recently settled on the outskirts, unprepared for the ferocity of an Appalachian winter. Their youngest, a small girl named Ilara, with eyes the color of the summer sky, was known for her adventurous spirit. One afternoon, chasing a snow-white rabbit, she wandered further into the woods than ever before. When the sky turned a bruised purple and the snow began to fall in blinding sheets, she realized she was lost. Her small footprints were erased by the wind within moments, leaving no trail back to the warmth of her home. The panic spread through Shadow Creek like a chill. Ilara's father, his face pale with fear, went door to door. A search party was hastily assembled, but the storm was a living entity. its winds sharp as knives, its cold seeping into their very bones. The flickering lights of their common lanterns were swallowed by the swirling whiteness just a few feet from their faces. They were fighting a losing battle against the wilderness. The search was called off as night fell, the villagers retreating to the safety of their homes, their hearts heavy with a shared dread. The wind howled a mournful song, and in every home a prayer was whispered for the lost child. The darkness outside was absolute, a crushing, endless void that seemed to have swallowed the little girl whole. From his darkened window, Silas watched the futile search. He heard the desperate cries and saw the feeble lights surrender to the storm. He felt a strange, unfamiliar pang in his chest. He looked around his workshop at the rows upon rows of lanterns. There was one in particular, his masterpiece, which he called the Heart of the Mountain. Its brass was polished to a mirror shine, and its 6 panels of crystal-clear glass were etched with images of the sun and stars. It was designed to hold a special, slow-burning candle that could produce a light of unparalleled brilliance, a light that could pierce any fog, defy any storm. He had spent a year crafting it, and it was his most prized possession. He ran a hand over its cool, smooth surface. To use it, to expose it to the fury of the storm, felt like a violation. It was perfect. It was his, and it was meant to stay that way. The wind rattled his windows, and in its cry he thought he heard a child's whimper. It was likely just his imagination, but the sound burrowed into his soul. He saw in his mind's eye the image of little Ilara, her summer sky eyes wide with fear, alone in the crushing dark. He then looked at his collection, his hundreds of lights, all of them cold and useless. What was the worth of 100 unlit lanterns when a single child was lost in the dark? The question echoed in the silent workshop, challenging the foundation of his life's philosophy. For the first time, the gleam of his treasures seemed dull, their beauty hollow. A conflict raged within him, the miser versus the man, the hoarder versus the human. His hands trembled as he reached for the heart of the mountain. With a deep breath that felt like shattering glass, Silas made his choice. He opened the lantern's brass door, his fingers fumbling with the unfamiliar latch. He placed the special candle inside, and, with a strike of a match, brought it to life. A light, pure and brilliant, exploded into the room, chasing away shadows that had lived there for decades. It was brighter than anything the workshop had ever known. It felt warm, alive. Donning his heaviest coat, Silas stepped out into the storm, holding his masterpiece aloft. The wind tore at him, and the snow stung his face. But the lantern's light did not flicker. It cut a perfect, unwavering path through the blizzard, a beacon of impossible hope in the heart of the tempest. He was no longer a shadow. He was a star, descended to walk the frozen earth. He followed the frozen creek, shouting Ilara's name into the wind. The light of his lantern illuminated the woods in stark detail, revealing the ghostly shapes of snow-laden trees and ancient rocks. Deeper and deeper he went, further than any of the other villagers had dared. After what felt like an eternity, the beam of light caught something small and huddled at the base of a great oak tree. It was Ilara, curled into a tight ball, her coat dusted with a thick layer of snow, shivering uncontrollably. Her eyes, when they fluttered open, reflected the brilliant light of the lantern. She wasn't crying. She was simply too cold. Silas wrapped her in his own coat, lifted her small, frail body, and turned back towards the village, his path guided by the unwavering light he had finally chosen to share. The sight of the approaching light was a miracle to the villagers watching from their windows. When Silas emerged from the blizzard with Ilara safe in his arms, a collective sigh of relief and awe swept through Shadow Creek. He had not just saved a child, he had saved their hope. From that night on, everything changed. Silas was no longer the village recluse, and his workshop was no longer dark. Every evening, as dusk settled, he would light a dozen lanterns and place them around his home, their warm glow a welcoming beacon for any lost traveler. He discovered a joy far greater than possession, the joy of purpose. He learned that the true worth of a light is not in its craftsmanship or its beauty, but in its ability to shatter the darkness for someone else. And in sharing his light, Silas, the lonely lantern maker of Shadow Creek, finally found his own. And so, our story comes to a gentle close. May your mind be calm and your dreams be kind. If you're still listening, we'll be waiting for you here again with another story from Midnight Murmurs Studio. Until then, sleep well.